Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. And this is the review of the new fantasy adventure comedy swashbuckling Netflix series based on the manga series with the same name, One Piece. And this is the live action adaptation of that manga. Initially, I wasn't going to review this series, but I had such a good time with it. The reason I wasn't going to review it because I wasn't enriched in One Piece. I didn't really watch all the episodes. I watched a few. I am into anime, but I just didn't really get into One Piece. But man, this makes me want to go back and get into it. This is such an exciting show. The premise of One Piece, the series follows the adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates as they explore the dangerous oceans, land, and beyond in search of the One Piece, a fabled treasure that will make their captain, Monkey B. Luffy, king of the pirates. But the Marines are on their ship's tail, and they are not the only crew searching for the One Piece. Armed with skills and unbelievable friendship, the Straw Hats are ready for the journey and even more ready to fight for their dreams together. This show, I must say, was just a breath of fresh air. This is one of the best shows Netflix has put out in a long time. Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's not Stranger Things level of greatness, but it is an exciting show. If you're a fan of the manga, if you're a fan of that animated show, I would suspect that you would enjoy this show. This is a faithful adaptation from as much as I know about the manga. Like I said, I only saw a few episodes of the manga, and I wasn't really invested, and not because I didn't like it. It was on Adult Swim, and it came on late when I was watching, and I would catch it every now and then if I was up to watch it. But that was the only times I had a chance to watch it, so I couldn't follow the story. So that was my reasoning for not following One Piece. But I did enjoy it for what it was. It's still ongoing, from what I understand. It hasn't ended, and so you can still find those episodes. But this live action adaptation, oh my god, man, this was so fun. Starting with the performances, and I'm not gonna say these these actors and actresses names because I would destroy them. But rest assured, every performance in this show was great. I think this was beautifully cast. The chemistry between the actors, especially the Straw Hat crew, was just phenomenal. I loved how they bounced off of one another, how they built their friendship, their love for one another. They didn't just get together and automatically, hey, we're best friends. No, it wasn't that. There was an actual progression in friendship that you followed through these 8 episodes, and it was real. It really built up in a believable way, even though this is a fantastical show. Absolutely love the cast, especially of our heroes. Our villains were great. The villains in this show, we got kind of a villain of the week type format, even though this is a binge show, but every episode had a different villain, a different adversary that the crew had to go up against. And all were connected to our main characters in some shape, form, or fashion. And it was interweaving so perfectly. This show was well written. I mean, one of the best written shows I've seen this year. Such a great balance of drama and comedy and action and mystery as well. Some twists and turns. They had a lot of twists in here that me personally didn't see coming. Now, fans of the show may have seen it or knew backstories of characters. But me on the outside looking in, I was blown away by, like, oh really? Oh really? But it made sense, and it was good for the show. The story, as I said, well written, well acted, well directed. Oh my God, this show looks so beautiful. This was so beautifully shot. And I'm kind of like, midway through, I was sitting there like, I don't think we're going to get a second season of the show. Not because it's bad, it's because it looks so expensive. The show looked so expensive to produce. I don't know how much exactly, which was as far as the cost is concerned, uh, to produce this show. But man, this was money well spent. Makeup and visuals were just amazing. I've seen big budget $200 million films look bad. Bad special effects, bad makeup effects, all that. This show, we didn't have any of that. There wasn't a episode where I looked like, okay, they kind of cut back on this one. You know what I'm saying? Or they cut a little corner here or edited a certain way so you couldn't see the flaw here. No, it was none of that. There was a lot of love and care that went into this show. You can clearly see this. Swinging back to the action was very well choreographed. I absolutely loved it. The character of Zero, the master swordsman who has three swords, swords, and uses them all, and it was so good. And the actor who plays Zoro is the son of a Japanese film star icon, Sonny Chuba, and he's been in multiple films throughout his career. He passed away a couple of years ago, in fact, and samurai films. He was in the Kill Bill films. In fact, I forgot what he was. I forgot what character. I think he was that chef that gives Uma Thurman the sword. But anywho's, man, what an excellent job. I hope and pray we get to see him in more. Actually, all these actors. The actor who portrayed Luffy, loved his portrayal of Luffy, and a grounded character, if that makes sense. He was grounded in the sense of you can see yourself getting behind this character and picturing yourself as this character. But the main focus that I have, or the main takeaway that I have from this show, is the running theme of following your dreams. And it was so beautifully weaving in this story. Every single character, I don't care if it was the protagonist or the antagonist, every character throughout this show had a dream to follow, even the villains. And every single character had a backstory. Every episode we had a backstory to what dream they are following and why they are trying so hard to follow it and pursue it. And I thought that was just genius. Even recurring characters, supporting characters throughout these episodes. It is only 8, but it felt like a 20 episode in a good way, a 20 episode show, because so much was going on and so much story was being flushed out, and I couldn't help but be engaged with every single character. No character was wasted, not one. And I thought that was just perfect. It was perfect. To sum up One Piece, which is currently on Netflix, I would say that this was close to perfection, even though there are a couple of flaws. But I would say 90-10. It is great. The 10% that isn't, some episodes did feel draggy. It did feel long in certain little areas throughout these eight episodes. A couple of episodes which were about 55 minutes long. You probably could have cut down to 45. A couple of dragged on moments, but it's not enough to like take away from the show to the point where you stop watching it or anything like that. It was just unnecessary. Enough was flushed out. We didn't have to linger on certain things, and that's my only humbug about this show. Other than that, the performances were great from everybody. Not a weak performance throughout this show. The story was excellent. It was written perfectly. The visual effects were outstanding, and I think this is a real A+ adaptation of the source material. And so my final grade for Netflix's live action adaptation of One Piece gets a letter grade of an A-. Amazing show. Amazing show. Look, man, let me tell you how amazing it is. I blew through this in a day and a half. I blew through this. It was that good. It was that good. I had to go to work one day, and all I could think about all day at work was getting back home to finish watching this show. That's how good it was. And so I highly recommend, especially if you're a fan of anime, of manga, of these action adventure shows, swashbuckling shows that we don't get a lot of. This is the perfect show for you. One Piece, currently on Netflix. I would like to know, if you watched One Piece on Netflix, how did you feel? Do you feel the same way I feel, or you're not a fan of it? You never followed the show, or did you follow the manga and watch this live action adaptation and felt that it wasn't good? I would love to know, because I've said a couple of times throughout this review, I didn't watch every single episode of One Piece, and so I can't really compare the two. I don't know if it was a faithful adaptation, but the little that I did see, I felt it was faithful, and I enjoyed it. The characters that I known from the show, they were depicted just like they were on the manga. So that's my feelings, but I would like to know yours. You can email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube. We're on YouTube as well. The KB Radio Network channel. Subscribe and like this video. Everyone, thank you for joining me for this review of Netflix live action adaptation of the manga One Piece. Want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.